Grew up with friends that sort of navigated mental health things themselves, and felt that it was never going to be something I dealt with. I knew the stats are pretty high, that someone around me would deal with mental health, but I didn't think I'd end up in that space. But yeah, through a pretty difficult work situation and sort of church breakdown, that began a bit of a journey in navigating, well, yeah, what does it mean for me to think of myself as confident and sure of myself? I'm a pastor, I'm a youth pastor, and I spent a long time at this one particular church, and the role ended somewhat abruptly. I think that began a process of me thinking about what does it mean for me to navigate these feelings, these emotions, to not just kind of push them away, but to actually acknowledge them and recognize them and try to deal with them. Growing up in the church was, mental health is something that you might struggle with, but if you're anxious, pray, and God will do some stuff. And so I just hoped that would be the case. But it wasn't. I moved churches and things have been really good since then, and that's been a really positive move for me, but mental health stuck around. And I noticed myself beginning to have panic attacks, particularly at work. Anxiety was really creeping in. I was really nervous about things I was doing and whether it was enough, how I was spending my time, whether it was what God wanted from me, whether it was what my team wanted from me. And I began to consider, what does this mean for me? Is this just something I can quickly deal with and move past, or is there something deeper going on? I remember particularly one time I was on a bike ride. I'm a big cyclist, and I was riding across the harbour bridge, and a thought went through my mind of, if I fell off the bridge now, would I die? I've never been particularly suicidal or had those thoughts, but that was alarming. I needed to make some changes, needed to address some things, and so I began the journey to actually seek help. Seeking help initially kind of went down the classic sort of emergency realms. So we called the mental health care line, and my wife did actually. I wasn't really in a particularly good state to do that. So she did that and put me in touch with a psychologist. On top of that as well, went to see my GP, had a conversation about antidepressants and drugs and taking something for this to help manage the anxiety. Seeking that help out on top of the psychology was actually super powerful. I think sometimes it feels like a bit of a failure if we say, oh yeah, I've got to take medication for this thing, but I think, God's blessed medical professionals and people that have made these medicines for a purpose. This is a way that God does fix me. And so, coupled with the medication and seeing the psychologist regularly, and then having some strategies to manage that, essentially kind of recognizing moments when I'm going to sort of go into a bit of a spiral. That's sort of a bit of a term that we sort of came together with, this idea that I can sort of begin to doubt myself, and that goes into a spiral, and I keep sort of moving down and down and down until I just kind of fall apart. A really helpful analogy we used for my anxiety was that I saw it as an annoying housemate. I wish I didn't have to live with this housemate, but I do, and that's okay. I don't have to be best friends with this housemate. We're not going to have dinner together. We're not going to go out and hang out together. But they live in the house with me, and that's okay. And I can acknowledge that it's there and that they're there, but I don't have to live my life dictated by. God is above all of that as well, and He sees that and He recognizes that and acknowledges it. Anxiety is just a small facet of my life now, rather than the thing. If I was to encourage someone who is dealing with mental health themselves, I would say seek help. Don't sit on it. Seek professional help if that's what's required. Seek pastoral help if that's going to be beneficial for you. Seek medical help. Speak to your GP if there's things that are significantly going on. And listen to your body. I think sometimes we're very quick to sort of notice things in ourselves and go, oh, no, like I can't trust that, that's just the body. But actually, the body gives us good inklings around what's going on. I would say take note of them, don't just brush them aside, and speak to someone. Say, hey, I'm having these things going on for me at the moment. What should I do about it? Should I speak to someone? And yeah, you should. And there's so many good resources out there that it's a no-brainer to go and seek help. We're meant to be people that rely on others. God made us to rely on Him and each other. We can't do it alone. And so particularly with something like mental health, it's not something that you navigate by yourself. I tried to, and it didn't work. Think of people that are in the Bible that have navigated circumstances where they've been like, I'm just like, God, I'm so done. You know, Elijah just like so at odds with everything going on. He's like, just let me go, God. Like, let it be over. And Jonah, like, you know, so frustrated, he's like ready to die. But God's like, no, I've got a plan and purpose for you. I have a reason to use you. And I think recognizing that, yeah, God has a purpose in my anxiety and mental health story as well. I recognize that it's part of my testimony, it's part of my experience following Jesus. And as a youth pastor, I know many of my high schoolers are going to navigate mental health stuff themselves. And so for me, I can point to how following Jesus helps me navigate this mental health struggle and put it into perspective, that it's not the be all and end all. And so when I think of sort of these characters in the Bible that have sort of, you know, fallen on their knees before God and said, oh, I'm at the end. God's gone, I see you, I recognize it, and I'm here with you. And I sort of hold on to that and kind of, strive to sort of continue to push forward despite, the feelings I might have.